Hi, Rebecca. Thanks for coming.
It's a pleasure. It's a
Yeah,
pleasure
this is
for having me.
this is really exciting. So we wanted to just dive back through
Mhm.
the hunt, puzzle number 3 from Blue Sage, and just you. Yeah, so you were the winner. You solved this. So we
I did.
really want to hear, yeah, like everything, like your experience with it. But first, we have a video from Cole. Cole sent he wanted to be here, but he couldn't, so he sent us a video.
Mhm.
So we'll play that first.
Hey guys, this is Cole from the Secret Podcast as well as the Blue Sage Puzzle Company. I was asked to discuss my working with Arthur on the third puzzle for Blue Sage. So the story behind that puzzle was that I had decided I wanted to give somebody else the reins as far as the creation of the puzzle kind of thing, and two people actually came to me to volunteer and help out with it, and one was Arthur, of course, and the other was Brody Leak, a good friend of mine, ours from New Orleans. From the beginning, Arthur's involvement was strictly visual. He really just wanted an excuse to make art, and I think making puzzles sort of became a new creative outlet for him, and so it was exciting to have him aboard and helping us make this puzzle. So what was interesting though was that like he didn't come up with any of the clues per se. He just came up with the way that they looked. It wasn't so much that he wasn't saying or asking me for you know, symbols or anything like that. It was just, let's design the idea of the puzzle, and then he would put it into visuals. And Brody was mostly like, I took a big step back for puzzle 3 and just let Brody and Arthur do the thing, and it just came down to basically my final say as to if we were going to release what they had put together as the puzzle, and we did. One thing that's always fascinated me was the speed by which Arthur could create such meticulous art. The image we used for Puzzle 3 for Blue Sage is quite in depth. I know there are a couple things that if he hadn't have mentioned them, or if none of us had mentioned them, a lot of people would never have seen it. Like the rabbit in the trees and what have you. And like for him to come on and do this was really kind of it was neat to watch, because I think it was a new venue of art for him, and it was really exciting. So he didn't really care what I threw at him. He just found ways to put it in the puzzle. And working in tandem with Brody, they made a really good team, and in my opinion, designed a really good puzzle. Despite the fact that it was solved in I think 3 days, actually, coincidentally enough. But
Rebecca.
yeah, that's basically all I got to say about that. Because him and Brody worked together, exclusive of me for the majority of that puzzle. I couldn't really claim to know his thinking really. Like, it just seemed to me like he was excited to put ideas into visual art in a new sort of abstract way. Whether or not that's how he did it for the anniversary puzzle, I honestly couldn't tell you. I think that he may have gone a step further with the anniversary puzzle, because it seems like it kind of feels to me like he was playing with the idea of image manipulation, but not through like photoshopping or anything like that. Like, I know that he had he had put like the anniversary image is a series of pictures kind of photoshopped together, but in and of themselves they seem to be created in a, like they're a painting, right? So it's and again, that's part of what astonished me about Arthur was the speed at which he could create this art. you know, you give him a few words and he'd have a painting for you in no time. Like I said, the image that he gave us for for Puzzle 3 in Blue Sage came to us astonishingly fast. Like, I'm pretty sure we had all the ideas laid out in a couple of days, and then he just sent me the picture after about a day or so of making the art. And you know, so I think, like, if his involvement with Blue Sage can tell us anything about the anniversary hunt, it's just that he just enjoyed putting words into images, right? It was something he was really good at. And I think that's something that could be really helpful, you know what I mean? Like, sort of like I've said, many of us have said before about The Secret, you know, find instructions in the images, right? Because they're there. And, you know, I think that's all I have to say about that. Cheers to Arthur. Cheers to everybody. And, you know, hope to see you soon.
Shout out to Cole May. Thank you for making that video. Hey, Nick.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, do you know Rebecca?
No, maybe
really.
we didn't commented.
Rebecca won the hunt that we're talking about tonight, and Nick won the clue contest. So,
yeah. Well, not the whole contest, just one part of it.
So, all right, guys. So, Rebecca, is there anything you wanted to give us? Just, you know, like, what about this hunt? Like, you solved it like really fast, right?
I did, yeah. Like, for me, like I said, the verse was pretty simple in my opinion. I think it really, really helped, which is not the case with the anniversary hunt whatsoever. There's like a lot more, and there's a lot more into it. There's a sense of, like, you know, maybe there's a cipher or something in there. There's like something that needs to be cracked. There's a code that needs to be cracked in the verse, in my opinion. But when it comes to the painting for the one that I solved, the dead giveaway was the Bruce Lee pants. Like, I'm a huge fan of Kill Bill, so like for me it was a dead giveaway clue. And when you were looking at the verse and you match it with the dragon and the crow, then you know you're talking about the Father and the Son. So you just had to follow the crow, which was Brandon Lee, Brandon Street, right? So like that was
wow, okay,
to crack it, right? Very, very quickly. And the fact that, you know, Bruce Lee, you think about two cities, you think about Seattle, or you think about like in California. So like just finding the shape in the painting of Seattle was like a bingo. Like, okay, we're in Seattle, right? So like, where are we going with this afterwards?
I'm in awe because, like, how do you find? Obviously, like, I agree with you. The water was, it was unique, right? That was the only bit of water, so it was compositionally, it was unique. But how do you figure out the shape of Seattle?
Google, I guess.
Yeah.
you put it out and you do an overlay.
Yeah, you're like, this is a shape. I know, Arthur, this is a shape. This is something. And then, so, okay. So we'll take a look at the PowerPoint that I think Arthur and Brody and perhaps Cole wrote together for the solution. And we'll just go through this. And then, so Rebecca, if you'll just let us know like your experiences for each one, and like,
I think that's my PowerPoint. So you're gonna see like what I saw.
Oh, it's yours. Okay.
Yeah, and then there were, I don't know, we're gonna see like in the next slide.
Yes.
And there was like a PDF document that Arthur made that I have a copy of as well on my computer if you want to share it at any time. So yeah.
That was one of my biggest questions, was how did you get to Seattle? Because ultimately, for people who aren't familiar with the hunt, it ultimately solves out to this place, the Wishing Tree, right? That's in Seattle. It's in the traditional Chinese area of Beacon Hill and the park of Deer Park. And this is the Wishing Tree. And that was ultimately the solution.
Exactly. I just went with Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee and Seattle go together, right? This is where he's buried. He's famous for being like, not from Seattle, but like now in Seattle. As long as his journey. So this is so that's why. That's the only reason.
I wondered about that, because I knew one of the biggest clues that you had cracked from this document was the Bruce Lee, the pants, right? You recognized the pants and other things. And then I was like, didn't have a chance to look up if there was a tie to Bruce Lee in Seattle, but okay, that makes a lot of sense.
That's where his grave is. Yeah. And his
Yeah.
sons. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I worked through all of these from just an outsider who have never seen the hunt. The first thing I saw about it was the solution. So I found it was really interesting. I thought it was really hard. Like so I think you must have just hit that sweet spot of like, I know what this is. Let me go and look and see if I can confirm it through other parts and pieces. And so just for everybody that's wondering how this might translate over to our new hunt, the anniversary hunt, there's some good news about this. Is there was multiple clues for the city and the immigration group, and the immigration group ended up being like a really big part of the solution. And then there's a very specific depiction of the final spot over here that we'll get to. And then you can see like the wishing tree, the tag over to the left, and the bench. The types of clues that Arthur went with, he went with some cultural clues, a lot of pop culture clues.
A lot, yeah.
Yes. And he went with, there's an architecture clue with the Space Needle, some map elements that were pretty tough, and then a longitude, latitude. And then, so I have this is actually from your document as well. The painting itself is set in a green forest because the one of the nicknames of Seattle was the Emerald Forest.
Emerald City,
yeah, Emerald City, yes, yeah. And because it rained so much, they said, and you have so many evergreen forests around. So I thought that was pretty neat. And then, okay. So here's the infamous pants, right? The yellow pants that, let me go to the next slide because I think it shows it better. So this is what cracked it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those are really famous. Like, if you're like a fan of Kill Bill, then Uma Thurman is wearing an outfit which is yellow, and she's wearing this outfit for a tribute to Bruce Lee. Right. So that's where it's coming from. So technically, you could have thought this was like more related to Quentin Tarantino or something like that, right? If you follow the trail of the pants, then it's Bruce Lee. Yeah.
So iconic for you. And then it gets tougher because then here's also the emblem of the school. That's
something we found a bit later, because honestly, like, I saw the dragon, I was like, he's the dragon, of course, because his son is the crow, he's the dragon, so that's normal that he's made a dragon. But when we follow the verse and all of a sudden we get in that area, you find the school, right? And I know I passed my solution to Marion before I've submitted it, and she's the one who actually pointed out the school to me. I'll give her like full credit on it. She's like, "Oh my God, did you notice that?" And I'm like, "No." So I'm like, "That's just another piece that was hidden, and I just thought it was the dragon." And that was it. So so like, once you're in the neighborhood, and what's particular is that this is not in front of the school. So like, even though I've seen the school, it's not on the actual physical Google map. You need to go on the website of the school to see that logo.
Wow.
Otherwise you're not seeing it. Yeah. So
and is the logo reversed in the painting?
Yeah.
So that makes it a little more disguised.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these I think are really disguised, like highly disguised. But I liked that the school, not only was it like the school that was adjacent to the park, but it was also, it had the name of the park. So I feel like that was like another tie-in. And then we'll go back to the one right before this, and we have the statue. And this is my favorite part of the painting. And I'm assuming you didn't know about this statue when you, because that's a pretty tough. When I first saw this, I assumed that it was Arthur was using it as a clue to get to Seattle, right? And I was like, how in the world would anybody, or as a clue for Seattle? And I was like, how would anybody get this clue? And it's a statue, Lohan the Dragon Tamer, and it's in the Seattle Asian Art Museum. And and then as I read through the document, I was like, wait a second, this is not so much just like the model for the painting. He's talking about this, or it's being talked about like a character. And I was like, so it just made this whole thing become more like a storyline for me, which it was really, it just was a shift in perspective that I thought was really neat.
Indeed, yeah.
So again, you have the clothing is altered to be like the Bruce Lee, and you've got the school added. Hold on.
It's so clever that he turned it into the map of Seattle as well.
Indeed.
Because it's the statue and the water makes the shape of Seattle as well.
Indeed. And I don't know if Sundai is okay. Arthur would and myself, we work on numerous hunts together, and we were firm believers in the secret that, and the central character on the painting has a reason to be like that, right? So if you look, for example, like the example of the witch that's been given by GGP, I mean, it brings you to an area which had, famously hung the last witch in Boston, right? So it's close to Salem, like he said, and it's not, but we always thought the central character on the painting had a reason to be. In this particular case, you have a Dragon Tamer, you have the dragon of Bruce Lee. I mean, there's a connection somewhere, the Asian team around it. So I'm sure it's normal that he's picked that, but probably in that kind of reflection of thinking. So
yeah, I mean, from looking at this one, I kind of guess that if there's more than one clue in one area, that is probably getting close to where it might be, right? I mean, there's no Florida clues in your the solution that you found. I mean, you saw mostly Seattle clues, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the one thing that's very strange about the hunt, the anniversary hunt, is that, well, a lot of the clues look like they're centered in Ohio, but yet there's still like some people seeing stuff in Florida, seeing stuff in St. Louis. So it's like, I don't know. I always think it's the most simple is more likely, that if there's more than one clue in this one area, it's possibly, most likely there.
Probably. No. I agree. Like I've made a bit my homework into looking at the anniversary hunt, to be very honest, since I solved 2 of Arthur's hunt very quickly within like 3 in one day. So I decided to step out at some point, and life being life, I have 2 young little kids, and we had a lot on the go. But I spent some time over the past week just looking at it and just seeing for myself what I see, and I do believe, but that Ohio is probably right. But it's a matter of what you make out of the clues. I need a bit more time to look at it, I think. But I can understand why people are looking in Acorn, for example. I definitely can understand. Yeah.
Did you get the rabbit, in the trees automatically, or did you find that later?
No. Cole is not with us, but I know he was a very fan of I don't know if it's a game or TV show about rabbits, but it's coming from there. So,
but it was like, wasn't it a logo or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Because I think I see I haven't really explored it that much, but I see a smiling face in the tree branches of the anniversary one, and I'm thinking that might be something like the rabbit,
Oh, it could be. It definitely could be. So I don't know where our host.
Yeah, I mean, what happened? She got distracted and then left us on her own.
Probably.
Oh, there she
So sorry. Okay. Computer trouble. I'm back. So sorry. Oh my gosh. I'm glad it kept going without me, though. You don't even need me.
It's not like Zoom if you didn't make somebody the host.
Right? Okay, so we'll get back in. We'll dive back into where we left off. Okay. So, this was super tough. A lot of these were like really tough clues. And this one was even described as this clue was hard to pick up on. But apparently Jaws if you're a Jaws buff, or if you saw the Jaws, the set of Jaws here in the antler, then it would tie back to Bruce, because the original name, I'm trying to read tiny type here at the top. Yeah, the original shark was named Bruce.
Yeah,
that they used to film.
Yeah.
So that would have gave you Bruce. So, and that was tough. You can just see barely just the hint of something else going on that one set of antlers that's different than the others. But
yeah. I mean, it's not even exactly what the shark looks like. It just brings to
And
mind the shark,
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not the outline of the teeth in the shark, but it is the outline of the shark. So it's like, you really have to know a lot of, I guess you have to know a lot of pop culture too, because I don't know the name of Bruce, the shark.
Yeah, that's one thing with Archer. Like, pop culture is something he was really knowledgeable about, and like we spent a lot of time together trying to find pop culture references in the secret paintings. For example, like in the Renouk painting, we're pretty convinced, but I never know how to say it since he's gone, but we're pretty convinced that the armor is based off Excalibur from 1980. With the guy from Star Wars. Like, I have the movie. It's exactly the same kind of crazy elements. For example, like we thought it was that. This is like where he fetched the inspiration from. A bit like Time Bandit, right? So like it's there in it's blatantly in your face. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like, we always felt like the hair of the witch look like Xanadu, right? Like the movie with Olivia Newton-John, which is the goddess with the ice rink. And in Boston, it's funny because it's found very close to the ice rink, right?
I like that.
So like, there's a lot of connections that we've made along the way, which relates to pop culture. So part of me is not surprised that he's included so much in his hunts. And even like in the other ones, like the other one that I saw with the Twister, there's like, the movie Twister in there. There's like there's certain things that are hidden that are pop culture related. So I'm pretty sure in the anniversary there's some stuff as well, and it matters. There's a reason why he picked Peter Todd. There's a reason why he's got this specific character, which we think is David Carradine for whatever reason. May or may not be.
I mean, it could be Grasshopper or something, wasn't he in the, wasn't he called Grasshopper or something?
Yeah.
Or maybe, he wears a bowler because there's some famous bowler in some state,
Yeah. Never know. Yeah. It's a possibility.
So I'll read a couple of the comments we have, and I can't see who's writing them, so I can't call you. I can't give you a shout out, but it just says Facebook user. But he said it probably meant this is more of an Easter egg, and yeah, I'd buy that. There's a couple in here that I think maybe an Easter egg. Oh, I didn't have it, but the mustache on the character on the
it's Jimi Hendrix, yeah.
Yes, it's Jimi Hendrix.
Oh,
yeah. And let's see. Okay, and Bruce and Jaws could be our David Carradine. It's like, yeah, maybe we just thought that too. Okay, and then let's see what we have next, because this one was a tough one. Okay, now this would have probably been my foothold in this puzzle if I could have gotten one, because I'm a Starbucks fan. So, but we have and guys, tell me if there's a better name for this. I just put pictogram puzzle because it's not really a rebus, because it's not the first syllable of antler that solves it. You have to put it a little bit more together. But basically, this is a star flower, and then it being on the antlers. Antlers belong to a buck, so you have star bucks. Yeah, which we all know is the original one is in Seattle, very well known. So this might have been like my foothold if I could have figured this part out.
And again, Archer used to love a lot, like the fact that there was rebus and stuff like that hidden in the secret painting, right? Yeah. Like if we take again like the Renouk example, and on top of the Excalibur that we thought had some kind of like importance to it, like you have like the cross and two bridges symbol. So like in our opinion, it was to cross two bridges. So like there's certain things like that he was always on the lookout for on the secret painting. So you're likely to have rebus like in the anniversary. The symbols on the arm probably matters. There's probably a reason behind it. Like we have the port on with the anchor, we have the lake, and there's the something we're missing in between. So
it's so interesting to think of it from the aspect of an artist, right? They just think of things. They think of things differently. They think in pictures if they're like a painter or a sculptor. So I liked that Cole was tying that in with us, that maybe there's some word puzzles going on, some illustrated word puzzles again.
And you see, like for me, like the horns on the painting, I thought it was meaning that the group was actually the Celts, right? Because I thought it was the Orn gods from the Wiccans. So this is what I thought it was, with the Emerald City linking to the Celts, right? So I never thought the immigration group was the Chinese. So I'd be very transparent.
Really? Yeah. Oh my gosh. You busted this thing right open just from I love it.
So I thought this was our fair people, right? Like this was like the mythical person we're looking at is the horn gods, like the Wiccans, the Celts, right? But it was not.
I guess you posted your solution, and then did Arthur and or the group, did you guys talk about it after that to see like did anybody else?
He posted his. He posted his. So like, there was a bit of conversation as to what people picked up on. I need to go back.
So did anybody, if you can remember, and I'll have to ask Cole, did anyone pick up on anything that because we have your perspective because you won, and then it'd be really neat to see if anybody else had picked up on other pieces or saw.
I'm not sure.
We'll have to ask Cole, right? You have to scroll back a little. So let's go. So then they have another tie-in with Starbucks, right? Yeah, the steaming coffee kind of tied into. I'm just going to call that a cauldron. And so that ties again. So that kind of gives us, I have hope in the anniversary because he's giving us multiple kind of hints towards the same thing. Like Starbucks, he gives you kind of two things to kind of that tie-in with Starbucks. He gives you multiple things to give you Chinese. He gives you multiple things. So we're hoping.
Is that the actual like stock image that he used? Because it looks like it matches the steam almost exactly.
That was in his solve, so I would guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so great.
He'll be looking at stock images and stuff probably then.
Yeah.
Good idea.
It's so great to just have his like actual. It's great to have this solution that we can pick through. And then we have the Space Needle. So we have it upside down. So a piece of architecture. And that's something familiar with the hunt. I thought it was interesting that he said purposefully I did not paint them exactly the same. But if you look at them, I mean, it's pretty spot on.
It's similar. Yeah.
Well, to me, like the biggest thing that I can point to that's not the same is these separations that are on the bottom. These, whatever you call those white.
The supports, I don't know.
The white. Yes, exactly. So he didn't add those around the rim. And if you guys, I mean, that was pretty much the biggest thing I could point out that was different with it. Because it even ducks in on the sides. So it has a little bit of a lip for the rim, like this one, like the picture that he showed does.
Yeah.
So what I get from this is that he turned the things around. He also flipped things around. So probably not just upside down either. Just like maybe we have to look at all different angles. Yeah.
I'd buy that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then we have the next one is that infamous shape of Seattle. So Are you really saying like this was one of the first things that you? Because I'm like in awe.
Yeah, and it's not flat, right? It's like in a kind of a angle, one perspective, right? So it's yeah.
It's really well hidden.
I was like, is this close enough? But the thing is, it was so distinctive on the painting, right? Like why is there like this big kind of water puddle sitting there in a strange shapes? Like it has to be something, in my opinion, right? So like
purposeful. Yeah,
exactly.
What I love about this is that it's compositionally unique. Like that's the only bit of water that you have. So it's not like our branches in the anniversary painting where you may have something in the branches, then you have to figure out where it might be, kind of thing. Like this is spotlighted in that it's unique. It's the only thing.
Exactly. Exactly. It stands out, right? So like it has a purpose. And like he's hidden this little white dot on it as well. Shows the neighborhood where you were supposed to go on the map.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because there's 2 white dots, right? And one of them was the neighborhood that it was. And then later on, we'll see that there's a representation of the park. And it also has not necessarily a white dot, but like a small highlighted area. I'm like, dang, Arthur, these are tough. These are really tough. Let's go next. Okay, so here we go. Here's the park.
The park, yeah.
Yes. So the top 2 pictures are the ones that were provided, and then these bottom ones are just things that I cropped out of the main picture. But he describes this as showing some similarity to the paths in the park. Yeah, and that's tough. And then you see that white dot, right, in the area, the highlighted area in the red circle. Man,
a little thing.
Yeah, that's devious. And but I do like I included this bottom right picture so that you can see that shadow does. I mean, it's a differentiated area. And it does make a shape. I love that he put this bright green right next to the arm, to kind of kick it out. Like this is, an area that's jutting out from this shape. And it's so bright and it has like it doesn't really look like foliage because it's all like one smooth color to kind of draw attention to the area.
Yep.
But I got to tell you, if this was posted, this idea, I don't know, Nick, what do you think? If this idea was posted as a match online, what would you think?
Well, let's see. I think that people would say, "Oh, the branches don't match exactly," or that there's too much of a long arm at the end, and it doesn't. And there's no branch going into that. So people would pick it apart probably.
Yeah. We're very quickly guilty of doing that on solves that are being proposed, right? Like I'm going to say from Montreal, I mean, there's a lot of different things that people can come up with. My husband is laughing next to me. send me that I'm like, this makes no sense. But I'm going to go there anyway.
If I saw this, I
don't have a cast to prove otherwise, right? So, but I think it's artistic, right? So like there's a certain amount of painting in there, so obviously you're never gonna get the shape exactly right. So we need to give ourselves that kind of little buffer from time to time. But you know what? Maybe it's close enough. Let's consider it, right? And I think Archer had this kind of mindset, and he always was looking for maps in every single one of these paintings from The Secret. He was convinced it was a road to it. Like every single painting is bringing you to an area, and then from that area you're going to pick up the verse that seems to be making the most amount of sense, right? Like where the painting leads you is where your verse begins, right? It's like that's always how you've seen it. And I don't know how you work with George. I cannot say that's the same thing in the anniversary, but like in that case, I understand why he's bringing you to that part, and from there you need to go on your journey, right? So it's
yeah. No, I know that I see shapes everywhere, and like probably, I tend to say, okay, if it's got more than one thing that's going for it, it's most likely going there. But I've proven myself wrong a couple times. I mean, like I've seen that guy in the bowler hat in many different terrains, like 3 or 4 different areas, and even in the same pose, and like my mind just like makes it look like that shape. So
I know. But one fun thing is, like, in this one you have like the tea bag, and I know in Akron there's one place where you see exactly the same eye as like on the painting. So I'm like, that's interesting to me. Like if you find there's a graffiti exactly the same eye, you're like, oh, okay, this is fun. this is fun. But you need to be able to make the verse match. If you don't know it, I'm gonna send the image to both of you. I'm gonna say I can show you where it's at. But
yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Yeah, I think for me, I would think the same thing. This extra branch that just keeps going outside of what the park path would be. Oh, I don't have a good, devious is not the right word. That's the word we used for JJP, but it's tough. It's like, yeah. And then if you look over here on the right, you see these rounded areas of branch, and you're like, maybe that's something. That's got to be something. And it turned out not. I'm gonna say the only one that was something is that bottom loop to this park, and that's not even the most round area. But none of those round areas turned out to be anything. Even with the rabbit, I thought the rabbit's nose, because the rabbit's over here in the rabbit ears would be. We'll get to the rabbit, but I thought that would be in the nose. Nope, was not highlighted as the nose. So it's just. Tough. He made this tough. He shouldn't have put those pants. I bet he was kicking himself for those pants.
That's why today, and I don't think it's David Carradine, just because he knows how much I love Kill Bill. I would have done that. But it looks like him. I cannot say anything else, but it looks like him. So yeah.
So Paula says, but that showed that Arthur knew the exact dig spot. It was said that he did not know it for the anniversary. So that's a good point. And we should say in this hunt, it wasn't a dig spot, but it was just that bench, right? It was the picture of that bench. The wishing tree was what would win. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But he did definitely know that in this hunt, because with working with Brody, they collaborated in that way. Yeah. So, yeah. But these are tough. So, okay, guys, this is the longitude and latitude. Just take a minute, Nick, and look at that and tell me, would you find it?
Well, it's very difficult because you think, oh, all of it should be a branch, but not like this. But yeah, it's these. You gotta pay attention to every line. It might even help. I mean, maybe I haven't tried it, but maybe turn the painting into black and white and gray. Just a gray scale, and see if that will help, like, bring out something.
That's a great idea. That's a really great idea, because you may see this form more readily. But yeah, I was with you. I was like, oh, that's clever. You make 90% of it out of branch, and then you've got one line that's a highlight. You know,
and if you put it up center, it looks like LA or something. It's like you could be really off.
Yeah, that could be a lot. Yes, exactly. And this 122, I don't know. I think some of these pictures are clearer than others. So I think this is just not a photograph of the actual painting, or like the high res. But I don't know if I would have seen the 122 either. But man, yeah. And then here we are at the solution. So he said he was, so you can't really tell, but right here on the bench next to the jacket, there's green graffiti. And so he included that in the painting. And then the wish tag. And I think I still have some more of the smaller clues. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
So this is stuff, like, I like this. This is, like, I guess it says it's a famous sculpture in Seattle, the pig. And we have pelicans here. So I like that we have pelicans with all different patterns and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cute. But again, like another pop culture.
Yep. A
reference.
lot of it. Yeah.
And if anybody would have ever, if anybody would have seen this rabbit. Oh, nope, sorry, wrong one. Just hold your hand up, because there's no way. Like, I would have thought something was going on, or might have thought, yeah, I couldn't have gotten to.
I don't know. I mean, I think I see, the ears. I wouldn't have seen this particular rabbit. I mean, you'd have to know this rabbit, but
yeah.
I mean, I see something like in the anniversary hunt. It's very much like a face with a smile. Like, I don't know if you've seen it, but I was thinking about looking into it more. But I'm thinking that it might be the kind of like the rabbit. There's like this face where an eye is one of the jewels.
Mm.
And it's got a little smile. But anyway, I see things everywhere. But
based on this, it's probably a pop culture reference.
Yeah.
And I think this was what Cole was talking about when he said, had this not been pointed out, no one may have noticed it. And this is a game that's popular in Seattle. And that's why it's included there. But like, that's tough. And then we have the earring that was in the shape of a birth symbol. So Deer Park.
I thought it just meant a hospital.
It might have been, let's see.
Hospital, but no.
Well, they give birth at hospital.
Dearborn. Oh, Dearborn Park. I messed that up. So Dearborn, like your born park. Yeah. So another tiny little clue. But this also makes me think of, he used colors. He referred to the colors a lot. He used brown for, and then you can tell like the cauldron is very lightly sort of a beigey color, but he said he used brown here on the ground. Coffee, he was talking about coffee. So he decided to go brown there instead of like continuing the green. And then of course the forested area was for the Emerald City. So that makes me think of all that blue that we have in the anniversary painting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So someone asked, how long did it take Rebecca to solve the painting or the hunt?
About 2 days. It's strange because it went out. Then I started working on it. I had Seattle. I went to get a vaccine. I was knocked off for like 12, 15 hours, something like that, right? And I just slept the entire time. I woke up and I felt better, had a coffee, opened this up, and I think 12. I don't know. So I was like, the verdict is I need to have a vaccine for 40 days. Like knock off on meds or something.
I love that so much.
Like things that are not supposed to be.
Well, in a couple days, and one of those days I was out for 12 hours. So I love that.
You don't, right? Like I said, there's a reason why you use Peter Toth. Why he's using his totems. Like there's a reason why it's there, and we just need to figure it out. I mean, is it because of like where he's born, where his workshop is, where like he lives? I mean, there's questions, right? But there's a reason why this artist was selected and included in the painting. So we just need to follow those type of leads. And pop culture is very important. So there may be things we're missing out in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yep. I agree. I think Peter Toth is, I almost wonder, doing this made me look at the anniversary picture completely differently. Because even before I was like, that guy looks like David Carradine. Like, and then I thought, well, and then when I started this, I was like, oh, so Arthur uses models because he used the statue as a model, right? And then halfway through, I was like, crap, this is not a model. This is a character. Like, he's telling us a story with this thing. This is the Dragon Tamer. He's in the Emerald Forest, right? And I know it's the Emerald City, but he's in this forest and he's doing these whatever magical things, a magical beast tamer would be doing, like over, he's levitating and stuff. But it's amazing how he worked in the clues. And so I made this next slide, and it's like, this is kind of like just a group of clues, right? And I kind of oversimplified this. I took some of them out, like the forest should be there because the forest was a clue, but and then you look at it as just a group of clues. And then I started looking at it as a story, and you're just like, well, he's yeah, I don't know. I can't really like get it out without sounding crazy. But it just became alive, you know. It's just like you have a setting, right? You have a main
Yeah.
character. Yeah, so that made me look at like this, the main figure in the anniversary hunt. What if he's a person, you know? Like he looks like David Carradine, but what if he's somebody David Carradine played in a movie or a play? You know, a Native American that David Carradine played, you know, in a movie or play, you know, kind of thing. And so it just, yeah,
Mhm.
it just, yeah,
Yeah,
it just
it's
made me laugh.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
He did play Native American in a play.
Who did?
Yeah, Black Elk in Black Elk Speaks.
Mhm.
I looked it up. Yeah. So, and you look up pictures of Black Elk and what is Black Elk wearing in some of his pictures? You know, the breastplate, just
Yeah.
like in the movie or just like in the painting, you know. So it's just interesting that you're like, this is not just a guy with a clue on his chest and doing some, you know, maybe a clue with his hands. Like this is a story.
Yeah.
So it's pretty
Yeah.
neat.
Which
right.
we really
Like the
like
hands.
how it was looking at the paintings as a whole from like The Secret with those characters in there. Yeah. It
Yeah.
suits him.
Yeah. I think that's it with those. Okay. So I don't know. What do you think, Nick?
Well, it's really interesting. I'm really going to look at the painting a little bit more open-minded, you know, because now the Carradine thing makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't know yet why, but it would be interesting to see. Is there another actor or character that guy looks like? But Carradine's the closest. I mean, you figured that
Yeah,
one.
there's been a couple of names thrown out that could be really good contenders. We'll have to post it and say, hey, who does this guy look like? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, not I've been 3 or 4 times convinced. I was like right in the right area,
Oh, yeah.
and I could see the exact map in the painting, and so I still might think that in some
Mhm.
cases, but
Yeah.
it's
And this does not help with that, right?
mm-mm,
Because you're
mm-mm.
like,
Yeah,
you
you're
said,
gonna
I purposely did not, you know, paint it perfectly, you know, it's a perfect match.
Mhm.
You know, this is a map of the park, and it's got
Mhm.
like this extraneous branch that, you know, this branch that makes up one of the branches of the path, but it keeps going. You know, you're like, this is tough.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
I would expect no less from Arthur, though, right?
Yeah. And
Just
if you go back to the
brilliant.
anniversary painting, you're gonna see that in the water there's shades. So like now,
Yeah.
like is there like is the black, like, but the dark blue like supposed to mean something compared to the light blue? Now that you've
Yeah.
seen that.
Yes.
And, and even in the in the other stalls, I know I've posted another one that I had Sullivan, I think Kathy and Linda posted theirs as well, so it could be interesting to have their perspective from the ones that they solve, right?
Yeah, we'll have
That
to do
he's made. There's also characters in there, like the other one had the Ad Astra, which was the statue on top of the Capitol building in Kansas, that we were in, right? It's like it was central, like really representing almost the a bit like the Statue of Liberty, if I could say so, like on the Russian painting. Like that's exactly the same type of setting, because to solve it, the solve was finding the Russian egg. Like it was like an imperial egg, right? So like there was a little something, there was a little hint, to what the Secret had done in the past, right? So there's always that central character. So and like I pointed out, and we've pointed out in the beginning, pop culture is something that really matters. So there must be some other stuff we're just not seeing in there, just little codes, right? That he's cleverly stashed in the shapes of the waves, or like whatever is throwing in the air, or the tree. There must be some stuff in there that we're just missing out.
Well, he must have done a lot of research, right? I mean, he didn't know everything right away. He must have like looked online for different clues to add to it, right?
And I think he's been learning from the ones he's been doing as well. Like, he, for example, he saw like how can I solve them very quickly? Why? And what did I see? Right. So like, he knows how I need to do better on this next time, for example. Same thing. I think Linda like solved one even quicker than I did. Right. So wow. She went very quickly on it. So he's probably learning a lot as well. It's like, you know what? I'm going to make this one a bit more complicated, I would assume, right? Like,
yes, like, I would assume so too, because
when he went on, I was like, I'm looking at it, I'm gonna solve it. I don't want to do that. I want people to do it. And he's like, no, you're gonna find it tougher if you do. So I'm like, okay, maybe. So, so now I've started looking at it, and I'm like, yeah, tougher.
It is tougher, right? Yeah, because and in this one. Okay, so in the anniversary, he says you're going to be able to find this anniversary painting will give you a state, it will give you a city, and then maybe it was kind of more vague, but it was like an area/district. So in this painting, he gives you a state, but he doesn't give you a state. Like he gives you Seattle. So Seattle is in Washington, and then then you find the area of Seattle. So, it's like we don't need to be, do we look for a state? Do we not look for a state? It's tricky. Yeah. Because he says we'll give you a state, but it doesn't necessarily have to give you a state to give you a state.
Indeed.
If it gives you the city, then yeah. So.
Yeah, and the other one I thought he had hidden the state of Kansas, I think, but it was not that. I need to pick up his solve. But he had the sunflower in there for the sunflower state, so it was there for you to see. So Kansas was there. And there was not anything particularly screaming Washington in this one, I would say. So right. It was very city based. So
yeah. So that gave me an idea. Like it made me want to ask you about the moonflower, or really also about the moon. Like the turquoise, at least what I think is the turquoise being portrayed as the moon. Does that did you find that interesting? Do you find like the moonflower and the moon standing out? Like as, does that, I want to say, does that mean something? Like I'm picking your brain, but it's like, well, I mean, we don't know.
But I think, honestly, I haven't been following up at all, like with what's been posted in the Facebook group. Like I'm really a Discord person, to be honest. But I think it's been pointed out that it's like in a rubber bubble, right? And this is exactly what moonflower can be used for, like the rubber.
Oh yeah, Ashley. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure it's been picked up somewhere, right? But the fact that he's put it into a rubber bubble, to me probably is relevant, right? It looks like the little person is like flying up, like she's being carried on by this big almost hot air balloon type of thing, right?
Yeah. Okay, interesting. So you feel like a rubber bubble because it has that elongated piece at the end, and so a regular bubble wouldn't be strong enough to support. Okay. Yeah.
Like the place I've been mostly looking at, like, in terms of Akron, because I know this is like probably top city in a lot of people, is around the airport, right? So like the Rubber Bowl Stadium. So it's like, where I've been looking, I may be totally off. Like I absolutely can be totally off, but just this whole, like, this derby, there's a lot of stuff in that area that seems to be hitting a few check boxes.
Nice.
But I think the fact that the moonflower is in a rubber bubble, they go together, in my opinion.
Okay. So. I love that. Ashley's going to let me know. Yeah. Wow. You know what? This whole thing has made me go back to, like, I just want to brainstorm, like I want one of those, like, those little brainstorm bubble charts, and I just want to brainstorm stuff and see if anything kind of overlaps, like Seattle did. Like you had multiple clues for Seattle. Does anything take me? Is there a couple things that line up that take me anywhere? So, yeah. What do you think, Nick?
Well, I was thinking about the flower. At some point, I was thinking it was not. Maybe it's not a flower. Maybe it's a cake decoration. Like how. Or a meringue. Do you know this meringue cookie? Whatever.
Oh, yeah?
It could be something like a bakery item,
Okay. Yeah. I forget what those are called.
Although there should be a flower in
it. It's a sweet idea, right? I think, what is this called? Pavlovas. I think
Yeah,
when
something
you,
like that.
the little meringue cookies. Yeah. So somebody said it would be great if more serious hunters joined the Discord so we could have some better chats than the hodgepodge we
Yeah.
see on the Facebook board. And I have to agree because I find myself really wanting a forum set up. Like I wish for something that's just like, this is the bubble and the flower. You know what I mean? Like everything about the bubble and the flower goes underneath that heading. Everything about the tree or the totem or whatever goes under that heading. And then I just think that's just a better system, So yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
a
think
new
I'm on
Discord.
Discord. I just never have commented on it. So Discord,
It's quiet these days.
yeah.
Well, it's a
And
vacation
Reddit, is
day.
Reddit good for it? Does
I've
anybody
not
use
really been
Reddit?
on Reddit. I don't know how to use
No,
Reddit.
Reddit.
I click on Reddit and then I get, diverted. But that's sad. I oughta, I'm old. But
Like, like knowing that Archer liked the map. I mean, one thing that I've tried to do obviously is connect those freaking dots. That he has on the
for sure.
section.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
I've been
And then
trying to
after,
match them with lakes because I thought some of them look like different lakes that are around.
oh yeah, I love your Silver Lake, Crystal Lake idea.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
something I haven't really gone into, but I mean I don't know if it was even my idea. Somebody was talking about Silver Lake after I mentioned it. Match. Somebody said that Silver Lake used to have this complex, of a ballroom and all sorts, and like a lighthouse and all sorts of things, which might
Nice.
be interesting to look into.
Yeah. That's what I feel like we're all doing, is just kind of like, we find a piece, what we think is a piece, right? And then we go there and then we look at it and then we see if we can find any other pieces. And I didn't really do that with The Secret. I did more of like, I stay with the painting, like, okay, what, like that brainstorming idea, like what is like you spend some time with the painting. And I did that at first and I made this whole like theory and it's busted. It's 100%
Yeah.
busted. It's not in Detroit, y'all.
I'm very good at matching stuff, and sometimes too good because my mind makes it match.
Yeah.
But there's so many really positive matches in Massillon and Portage Lakes, and even that place called Clay's Jellystone Park. So I mean, it's like there's a lot there, possibility, but nothing really clear exactly.
Yeah.
I still am trying to figure out the verse. I mean, I'm thinking complex might mean something with the cipher being complex.
Maybe. I tell you, 34 lines. There's a lot you can do in 34 lines. Like you can do anything. You could have like sky's the limit in that thing. Like any kind of cipher you wanted. Like first letters of, the first words, first letters of the last words, first, like whatever. And that ABC at the top. And then you've got that, I have to look at, what is it at the bottom where it's like RSV or something like that, like coming up the bottom. So then you've got another 3 or 4 right there at the bottom that are coming back up. It's like, do you split it in half? Right. Do you take like the letters in the last end? Do you take the letters from, in the bottom half, the front, the front of the line? Or is it not a cipher at all because George doesn't look at The Secret as having like anything like ciphers and stuff like that, like anagrams, ciphers and stuff like that across, apart from like the acrostics, as far as I know.
One thing that I thought was really interesting is that somebody mentioned, I don't know who it was. It was a woman said, Portage, each letter of those corresponds with a letter of a gem, which is really cool. Pearl, amethyst. No, wait, how do you spell it? Whatever. P-O. Okay. O, opal, R, whatever that is. You
yeah, that's really cool.
And that's also a 7-letter word, right? I mean, it could be a key.
Could be. I like the Portage Lakes because you've got that anchor, and then you've got the 3, whatever they are, and then you've got lakes. So what if it's just like port and then three blank letters? Portage Lakes, whatever. But yeah, no, I agree. That would be something.
Oh, she's gone. But also, there's 14.
Oh, am I not back? Am I back?
Yeah, I think there's 14 lakes, and then there's like around that area. There's like 7 lakes and 4 reservoirs. So like 4 of 7 or something like that. I was trying to figure out if that had something to do with it.
The funny thing that happened on my side is obviously looking for coordinates, right? Like in the first numbers that I picked up on, I've put them in Google Map, and my pin fell straight into Lake Archer. I was like, this is not funny. Lake Archer. I was like, oh no, in Pennsylvania. I was like, they haven't been doing this, haven't they? Like really.
Is that a pop culture reference? Or
no, it was really the Lake Archer. Like if you're in Pennsylvania, there's one. And I was
Arthur.
And he fell straight into Lake Archer, like just above.
Well, it's like that. The Peter Toth museum is on Arthur Road.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I know Cole did that, like in one of his hunts, like, Archer and I solved one of that hunt, and the answer was like in Cape May for Cole May. And he was like,
oh, I love it. I would
was glorious. And I was like, okay.
I wish I could stay longer. I gotta go, but I really appreciate, I would stay here longer.
Thanks for coming by, Nick. Yeah, no, this was really fun. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah. All right.
Let me
nice to talk to you in person.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
And nice to meet you, Rebecca.
See. Rebecca, do you want to stay on for a little bit longer? I can put give me a second, I can post the link to see if anybody else wants to add on.
Sure, not a problem.
We're talking anniversary stuff. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah. Evie said she'll be here in a few minutes. All right, let's see. Copy. Give me just a second, and I'll just go ahead and post that into the chat. Let's see if we've got any chat notice. Okay, let's see. I sure hope it's Pennsylvania, specifically Rachel's hometown. That was a tough one. I can't imagine. I mean, maybe anything's possible, but I can't imagine I guess hometown is different than not really that personal. I was going to say, I can't imagine that being related to any family stuff after, the last year and stuff like that. But I guess hometown is different. It's not really that personal. Let's see. Right now, there's a big debate about New Orleans versus St. Louis.
I have no idea.
Well, New Orleans won because St. Louis.
Yeah, I know.
St. Louis is out.
Oh no, I know that.
Really bad about that. There was some good St. Louis stuff.
The other thing on the painting that you have, obviously, is like the smoke puffs, right?
Yes.
And one of the things that we notice is that, since there's like branches separating the puffs, maybe you should read it like that, and that we make the letters like UTE, which is like, a native,
yes,
right, which is like known for the brass. And if you go through like Disney movies and all that, I mean, that's one thing that we brought up on Discord, right? Like collectively, is the fact that there's a movie around like Ute tribe that has as the plot that you have to kill Bill. We're linking it like again.
Oh my gosh!
Right?
That's funny. That's clever enough. Yeah,
pop culture reference right there. Right?
Yeah. I love it. I'm gonna see if anybody wants to. Yeah, no, that's funny, and that's the kind of stuff you're like, you can never rule it out, and you just you never know. Like, right? You're just like So let's see if we have. Okay, Paula says, coincidentally, Peter Toth's middle name is Wolf, the same as David Carradine's last name in Fast Charlie movie. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I like that Fast Charlie idea because he wears a bowler hat in the movie. His character does. Yeah. And even like the movie poster is made of that. Cause I have no idea what to make of that bowler hat. Like, yeah. It seems important because it's definitely distinctive.
Yeah. There's another thing that we did, and it's the you have like the edge of the painting where like it's symmetrical right in the middle, which is flipped. Like Archer believed in the Milwaukee painting that there's a space shuttle. Like if no transparency, it's not really like a secret. Like for a believer, verse 8 in Montreal and verse 5 for Milwaukee, this was like where he was heading. And there was this little thing on the Milwaukee painting that we played with like different angles and we came up with a space shuttle. So like when I see this thing, I keep thinking maybe we need to put it next to a mirror, right, to duplicate it.
So
to double it, right? So
I like that idea.
It gives me a lot of stuff when I do it. But it's funny because you do have like kind of a beard and a face and a nose and then mustaches when you do it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So yeah. So you get stuff. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, keep going. That was going to be my next question. Like, Rebecca, how do we tackle this painting? Do you have any tips for us? So I like these so far. That edge, or look for symmetries. Get out your mirror for that edge, because it does look like it's cut off. Like, it
does, right? Yeah. And if I don't know if currently someone is doing that.
Who's got their mirror out? Show us, post a picture.
But I don't know where the stream is. I can.
Eve, I see that you're watching with us. Jump in here. Anybody, you guys want to jump in? Come on in.
I'm going to
click that link there on
Facebook. There we go.
You're nice. You don't have to be brave.
So you can see it. You can see it. I sent it to you.
Okay. Send me a picture. Okay. Let me check this out.
You can see it. Yeah. But if you duplicate it, it's like you see your face. I don't know.
But... Oh my gosh. I'm going to have. Okay. Let me, let's see. I got to see this picture. Oh my gosh. You totally do. And he's cute too. Oh, that's funny. I don't think it will show up on my phone if I hold it up to the camera, but let's see. Oh, he's cute. Let me get it out of the way.
He's cute. I'm sure it's on purpose. It's too cute not to be on purpose.
I love that. No, that thing on the right, and then also the thing that's on the shore on the left. I mean, God, I've lost sleep about these things. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, and it's like and you have like the word that is written like in the water in black, right? Like I think most people see the word man for a period of time. Like I was like, oh, you know what? This is an Ohio reference. This is a Serpent Mount. It's not a good match. But then like after seeing Seattle again, I'm like, you know what? Like maybe it is. So like this is the things that we thought about. But I mean, this doesn't mean that when I turn around I look at Keith. By the way, like it's like listening to all my babbling. No, I think he's definitely the type of person who's going to take you to a place. There's a lot of those pop cultures. He always thought there was a map, right? So like there's things like that perhaps we haven't collectively seen. I've seen the like resume that you've posted, and how George said there's one post who got ignored that was really really good. So maybe there's a bit of digging to do to see which one
I agree.
Would be.
Everybody asked me, like, when did George say that? And he told me on the evening of the 29th. And the first thing I did was I went and I took screenshots. Like I scrolled down through of all the posts that I thought were, very, little action. Mm-hmm. And so I took screenshots and I actually posted them, but they got the comment that they were posted on the person who made the comment, which I replied to with all those screenshots. They deleted their comments. So, but I'm happy to post those again. Yeah, it's interesting. You're like, okay, I'm glad to know that we figured out something important and several things. So that's good. So we're headed in the right direction. So that's exciting.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, I think that's
why I wanted to do this
stuff.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to do this too, because it's just I think the best way to do it is study the solved ones, right? Like get that insight of what do you know, and try to take it. And I mean, I'm guaranteeing that like Arthur didn't use the same template on the anniversary, right? He's too clever. Like he learned from this. Yeah, there's no Bruce Lee pants in the anniversary. Rebecca. But yeah, so yeah, now I can't. I'm excited. This is such a great hunt because I love how everybody's still brainstorming. Everybody's still, excited. So this is going to up that, I think, too. Just to get some new ideas flowing.
Yeah, love to see this hunt being solved for like his memory's sake, right? I think it would be brilliant. And if we could find us to hear the Montreal cast,
that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
I really would love to do that. I mean, we did Probe as part of Montreal, and that was a bust, but for all sorts of reasons. But we don't give up hope.
That's right.
And we're it's winter. It's full of snow. All we can do is brainstorm over a coffee and wine and see where we're gonna go next. We haven't had any luck in that respect. So
I love it. How fun that you guys can do it together too. That's awesome.
Yeah, and we have the kids, so like the good decor. Go play over there so people look at you. So I can.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I have the funniest story about that. My husband, he was into The Secret for like a month. That's it. Like he tried, he got his theory for Houston. He tried and we didn't come up with anything. He's like, okay, I'm done. Like and I'm like, what? How can you be done? You have to look more. Like, but we went and if you're familiar with Herman Park. So we went and we went. Sweet dreams, babe. Okay. So bedtime. So we went and you know how they have the miniature train that goes around. So my husband's spot was next to like a little pond, like not really a pond, but like a creek area that goes from McGovern Lake through the Japanese gardens. And of course it wasn't in the Japanese gardens, but it was headed that direction. And so my kids are playing on the side of the pond and they're having a blast. They're just like, throwing the goldfish or whatever to the fish. And so that's in front of us. And then right behind us is the miniature train tracks. And there's like maybe 20 feet like in between the two. And we're right in the middle, pretending to have a picnic and checking the spot. And so every time the train would come, they wanted to be lookouts, right? They wanted to pretend. And so like the train would be like right behind us. My little boy's like, the train's coming, put your stuff away. Like, thank you, thanks. And then so we're trying to be nonchalant and have this like picnic, and all of a sudden we hear the train coming by, and then we hear it slowing and slowing and slowing, and then it just stops right behind us. And I'm like, don't look. Should I look? Should I not look? Of course you have to look. And it turned out there was ducks on the tracks, just like, a few feet further down. But I was like, oh my God, this guy's about to we're about to get in trouble, So that was funny. That was the end of it. My husband's like, I'm like, okay. And then I was hooked.
Yeah. we carry our stuff in a guitar case.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, in a guitar case. But then you have just a little peek of the probe coming out.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. I've never heard that one before. That's like really good.
Guitar case. Yeah.
Little shovels. And
the little shovels in the little pocket on the side. Yeah.
Okay. That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. I'd never heard that before. I have a bottomless picnic basket. So you can pretend like you're, digging around in the picnic basket and kind of probing a little bit, with little garden probes and stuff. But yeah, that's good. The guard, art case. That's really good.
Yeah. But no, I think we just need to keep really with Archer's mind. Like a lot of people spoke to him, and they, most of the the cities we shared with some of you. I know we shared like you, for example. So you see like the type of mindset that he has in terms of reading the painting. It's a bit what he's going to put in there, but he knows about what people are looking for, right? So how can he actually hide it through the painting so like we're not. No, the first thing that we're going to do is look for longitude, latitude, right? Definitely.
So we had to come up with new ways of hiding it, like using the branches and a highlight. Yeah,
and if I'm not mistaken, in the one that he did with Todd that I had solved for Kansas, there was none, right? Like there was other stuff. I need to like go back and pick up the solve, but I don't remember seeing them. I can check now on my computer, but I don't remember seeing any in there. So
that's hard. That's what George said. He's like, good luck. It's tougher when no one gives you the coordinates right out of the gate, because all of us came to the secret when it's already, what city, what park, what area, for the most part anyway, in my opinion. But let's see who's on. Let's see. Okay.
No, because what I had was I thought it was the state of Kansas in the dress, but it was something else. And there was the Twister movie.
Yeah.
And there was the reference in the verse to when cows fly. Which is the sign in the scene in Twister when there's a cow that flies in front of the car, right?
Yes.
So you're like, Kansas. There was a massive tornado on the painting. So I went like, okay, it's the Twister movie. It's describing a F5 tornado. Yeah. And those don't happen very often. So, so if we have the Sunshine State, like the Sunflower State, Kansas, and F5, where are we? So to speak, right? So that brought you to Topeka. But I don't think there was longitude or latitude in the painting at all. So there was other clues in there. So like he's stripped the painting from these, right? So it made it harder because he knew that we're going to go and look for that straight away. Right. So, but we still have a flower. We still have a flower in there. But like you've seen in the Seattle painting, the flower didn't mean like a month or anything like that. He had a purpose. It was part of the rebus, right? So like with the deer, it's the Starbucks. So that's why, like, I sort of focus on the fact that you had like the moonflower in a rubber bubble, right? So like, there's and they go together. They use moonflower to make rubber, right?
Yes. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
It's in the rubber bubble, right?
Yeah. And I remember talking with him about when the nudge came out about Roanoke and how he really liked the movement aspect. Like when we were told, hey, these are not static photos, or these are not like static portraits. They're a snapshot, of something happening. And, this thing is supposed to spin in some way. Something's supposed to spin or could spin or whatever. Yeah. And I remember that he was really interested in that. He actually made the picture with the with this medieval scarecrow turned around. It was awesome. It was just like the weirdest thing to look at. You had to do a double take. You're like, what am I seeing? Because you recognize it as the painting, and then you're like, wait, this is not the painting. What is happening? So that was really neat. So that makes me wonder, like, are we looking at, I guess a rubber bubble is not going to pop as easily as just a regular bubble. So, but I'm just like, is the stuff spilling out over the bubble? Are you going to have like Indian Falls or, something like that. So, but no, it's really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So like we need to put ourselves in his mind. I kept telling him about the Renouk painting, like on top of all his Excalibur outfit, like in the Excalibur movie, like in the Excalibur story, if you go into the dark forest, you're gonna get lost, right? So you shouldn't enter the dark forest, right? So like it's not in the dark forest. That's how we've seen it, and how like the scarecrow is actually looking at a jousting dummy, right? Like which you use, like if you hit it, it will spin. Right? If you've ever seen jousting, so maybe you need to flip the dummy, right? Maybe you need to flip the dummy. But the rest of the
write that down and look that up.
Right? So like the window is straight, this is static, the background is static, but the dummy needs to flip. Yes. Right? So like that's what we sort of envision, and then we came like with the rebus of like the cross two bridges. So like we think you need to come in Renouk and leave Renouk. essentially.
Ooh,
So
definitely could be. Yeah.
But we don't have a cast to prove it.
Yeah.
But we just need to, I think, just keep with his mindset a bit, and he's going to know what we're looking for, and just make sure that either it's not there or it's really well hidden somewhere. Yeah.
This is, I'm thinking about a new Discord where everyone, because then that's so much more like brainstorming, where you've got the one topic and then everybody's ideas about that one thing. And that's kind of, I might do that.
Yeah, Discord is a bit different.
Yeah. I'm on Discord. I like it. I don't post a lot. I haven't checked it in a long time because I've just been busy on this one, which I got to tell the group members I'll stop posting so much. I promise. I've been posting like an insane amount of stuff, so I'll take January off. But I wanted to do this. This last thing.
Yeah, just to share a bit of perspective, I'm going to share it with you in Messenger. This is the space shuttle.
Okay.
Milwaukee, because I don't think this is something I share on Discord, but that's why, I thought perhaps.
Okay.
That's why I thought perhaps it was something to do, for that particular corner,
cool.
because those are the type of details it was looking for, right?
Wow.
You can share on the screen your phone if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I will.
Which we.
So this is.
If we were
Apollo 13 space shuttle.
I
can do it without the glare. There we go. So we all notice that that's that edge there, and then if you mirror that edge, is that right?
Exactly.
Then you get the space shuttle, and then let me scoot over some more here, and there's a picture of it where it's mirrored. Here, let's see if I can get it without the glare. Yeah. Very cool. Okay, so we have our work cut out for us.
We were working on a very offbeat verse 5 theory in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
All those people out there that are in Lake Park with verse 8 before he passed. So that's pretty much where we left it off, with a hunch that maybe we had something good with the space shuttle and Jim Lovell that everybody knows, right? The space shuttle is a wingless bird. It doesn't have wings; it has fins. And everybody knows Jim Lovell because he's famously known for,
for sure.
Used to have the problems. So
and I have to read it, but is he from Montreal? I mean, not Montreal. Is he from Milwaukee?
He grew up in Milwaukee. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So hometown kid.
He went to Juneau High School and everything. So we thought maybe.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Very cool.
Trying something different, but
yes. Well, we got to, right, with the secret. Yeah. So that's what's great about the anniversary is there's not 40 years of construction on top of it, or through it, or under it, or yeah. So Houston Park went through some serious construction it's going to be going through it for a couple of years, and my area was, the concrete was busted up, and everybody, I thought, oh, well, I'll just go watch and see if I can see anything. Well, when they're busting up the concrete and the ground is covered in these white chips and shards and stuff, impossible. Like, you're never going to know, of course. So but
I don't think my spot in Houston, I think you checked it, and I don't think it's diggable either. So,
well, we did a little preliminary check, and then we're waiting for a friend to come to town, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when Augie comes to town, I mean, we're gonna go down there, and we're gonna leave the big artillery in the car, and then we're just gonna go out for a little picnic, and and check it and stuff, and then but have everything we need there in case. So surely Augie's braver than I am. It's easier to do with two people, right? Yeah. So
definitely.
But thank you for coming. Thank you for doing this. And I think I think if we really look into the solved ones, and maybe we can get like Katie on and Linda on to do another episode, because
her hunt was beautiful. Yeah.
So we can get just more insight into Arthur's style and how he thinks.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So hopefully this will give everybody some new stuff, some new food for thought, I guess, to take in to the new year.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. Let's dig a cast this year somewhere.
Yes, exactly. Let's find one somewhere this year. So, all right, guys, let's get to work. Let's find one this year, Rebecca said. So, okay. Bye. Thank you. Night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.